approaches and has a hit. Jack McGlynn! That is an absolute banger to draw this game level.
Welcome in. Game week 83. Midweek madness. Do we know what's going to happen? Probably absolutely not. I'm going to give my best effort at it. We have like zero news. Quick turnaround and then another quick turnaround. So, yeah. Welcome in. I know that's a glaring endorsement for the what these are going to look like, but Jay Blaze in first. Let's go. Save your East Coast lineup. I will try my best, but yeah, I have no idea. Yippee-ki-yay. Tell me about Columbus goalkeeper. So see it, save it. He's a Columbus fan, Columbus guy. He saw Patrick Schulte on a golf cart at the Memorial today. He looked good, but just talking with him, he seems to think that maybe they go Hagen, give him one more, and then maybe Schulte at the end. We'll get into it, but I went Hagen for now. Ryan, what's happening? When diamonds? No diamonds for whenever we have a short turnaround. I literally just don't have the time to write that article. You wouldn't think it takes me a long time to write that, but it takes me a really long time to write that article. I just can't do it on the quick turnaround. So there won't be one for the final either, just because you know how it is with, doing your Atlanta team. I literally can't get through all these and do anything else without having any sort of life. Setting lineups and serve for the first time takes 21 days to break a habit. I'm well on my way. Andy Black, props to you. I have not touched it. I'll go through it a little bit on here because I kind of want to build that into my stream, just of like, what am I doing? And maybe you guys can help me out. Duncan, what's happening? Let's go. Good to hear from you. Ojeda rotated last weekend, so they should be good to go midweek, right? Right? Oh, you want a Harriel when you instant bought. Oh, Derek Etienne. Wow, that's an upgrade, especially what Harriel's going for. He's going for a stupid amount right now. Eddie, let's go. Who needs sleep? Carnage. Yeah, definitely Carnage. We've had a decent amount of Carnage. Yeah, it's going to be brutal. What's up? Nothing better than midweek MLS After Dark. I do not want to copyright anything here. The Sorare After Dark crew, Andy Black's in here, but I'm jonesing for one of those streams, so maybe we can get that out of him this stream here. Alex is feeling left out with his Sporting Kansas City. Hey, sometimes it's nice to just sit on the sidelines. Can't lose if you don't play, right? So we'll start the stream as always. Transparency. Everyone loves transparency. How well I did, how poor I did, and obviously poor is the key here. So if we take a look here, 78 is a good kind of reference. So starting here at 78, I was at 86.5%. And that was before we got into like the heavy rotations. 73% my worst by far. Horrendous. But we had a 3 for Minnesota. They did full rotation. We already talked about that before. 5 for Colorado. So that's going to happen. We're going to have those kind of game weeks back-to-back over 80s. Okay, so on kind of the surface level, maybe that's not great. But when you factor in everything that's kind of gone through, I know there was a game week in between 82. So anything over 80%, I honestly think is really good for these midweeks and the carnage that you just can't really foresee. That being said, 83 might be horrendous. Like 83 and 84. If I get close to 80%, I feel that's great. Just based on, I'm going on zero information pretty much. Outside of like Andre Blake trained today. That's great. I'm glad we heard that, fully trained. But yeah, it's going to be brutal. Yeah, so on the year, we dipped down below that 85, 84.69. I'm going to round it up, 85. I want to be around that 85%. That's kind of my goal for the year, just to kind of keep increasing, but it is what it is. I got lucky on Saturday with your auctions. Got 3 free cards out of 4. That's great. Love to hear that. How do you count Schulte, who was announced in the lineup and then came off during warmups? I marked it as I got it right. because he was in the initial lineup, but maybe I should give me like a 0.5 on that. But I count it as me getting it right. And the flip side of that, if someone that I project goes in because of an injury in warmups, I don't count them. Maybe that's the wrong way, but like I can't really. The other one that I remember that happened, was it this season? Was it this season? Diego Martins, yeah. Was it the calf here? He just it got hurt. Count it right, yeah. Nice. Yeah. I mean, that just makes sense, right? I mean, I'm doing lineup projections, not are they going to get hurt in warm-up projections, but West Coast Special. I went into money with DMP. Some low scores. I was talking to Harry Trades. He needed a Sam Vines appearance to win the rare competition, which is horrible. I think he won like $200, but man, that's a terrible, terrible way to go after it after he just didn't get on the pitch. If he just got on the pitch, he literally would have won from what I've seen. But that's brutal. I did see there were low scores. I did not participate. I went a different route, and I didn't win anything. So I went a different route, but same result as, I think I maybe scraped a little bit back, but nothing to write home about it whatsoever. Just the prices. I haven't watched any auctions or anything like that. What I did is I know I bought several cards, but I bought collection pieces to get that boost, to get some of them at 5%. Talked about that last stream a little bit. It's a real shame whenever I didn't have a huge game week, whenever I bought a Kai in season, and I have 3 of them, and I rolled them out, and literally just I don't know, maybe some bad management by me, but like Schulte going out and knocked out 2 lineups. Just kind of brutal. Yeah, but it's good to hear. We'll see how that East goes. I'm really intrigued to see what that looks like. And, the final competition, they're great prize pools. So I should probably watch some auctions, but I don't know. With server data, what is it, June like 5th or 6th would be the last day. I got to see how I can play the game. I mean, I only play MLS, and I was thinking about getting into other regions, but server data did so much good stuff that I don't know if I can play the game without. I can play MLS without, just because I mean, I know a lot about MLS, but like the lineup builder, like Andy Black said, like building them on there, I haven't done it forever. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Gonna be a little bit difficult. Yeah, Atuesa made a huge difference. Brings a lot of quality service for sure. East Coast might be more popular. Yeah, I can see that, especially if like people see like, oh man, scores weren't that high. It's not that tough, with the West Coast sides. There's some smashers in the East Coast side. Not to say that the West doesn't have smashers, but a lot of interesting stuff. We'll talk about it. I'll go through each game, and what I'm going to do is, instead of like last time we like scouted for, different players, things like that. Did we do that? I don't know. I can't remember. Are there restraints? Since I didn't play it, there's no cap restraints, right? You just play it. I got to look because see, server data went down, so I don't, I don't even know how to play the game anymore. Let's get this common pack out of the way, because the notification doesn't go away, so I just collect the packs because there's Cornell. Nice. Look at that. Just because I hate notifications that you can't get rid of. I almost don't want to play server just because of that. But let me just check out the rolls, just because. Yeah. MLS East picks. Do we have at least East players here? We got 5 East players, so they did do a nice job there. Very good there. What a great chat. FPL, what's happening? How we doing? Good to see you in here. All right, so 30th anniversary. It's Hershey. Let's go. Big. I think Vancouver's going to go full rotation outside of like Berhalter and maybe Kubas. But their second team's good. We'll get into that, but be very interesting. I'm feeling good. How are you feeling about Saturday? Is it Saturday or Sunday? Sunday. The final there is. I can't remember. I think it's Sunday, isn't it? Rooting for you, that's for sure. I wish Berhalter wasn't suspended. I hate that 2 yellows. That's just so frustrating. You just need 3 cards. All right. Nothing else. All right, cool. All right. Finally made it to live stream. Let's go. Up late. Yvonne, let's go. Or Ivan. Yeah, we need to full rotate. Yeah, for sure. Got to be healthy. Yeah. Kubas coming off. I think he'll get some minutes. Maybe he's off the bench, but we'll get into it. Start with our glasses. Austin team. With this, let's look at this. Sorry, chat just kind of rolling in here. Contender in the state strikes. Nice. South America one. Nice. Yeah, I just saw that pop up, but I didn't. Let's see if the prize pool changed. I feel MLS been disappointing. He's got a full stack, still not wanting me anything. Classic's really hard. I mean, you might get some essence here and there, but it's tough. Sunday, okay. Need that win. Yeah, I'm rooting for you guys hard. Let's take a look at the prize pool here. Sorry, I just saw that comment. Wanted to bounce back here to see. Let's see. Prize pool 1,500 for first. Was it 2K before? Rare's 2K, unless was limited that before and it changed. I know the rare was 2K. So let me know, Ryan. I didn't play the limit. Well, I didn't play either, but I didn't look at the limit before limited. Harry, there he is. That 2K should have been yours. Sam Vines, forever on the hit list. Davidov, what's happening? How we doing? Daniel, what's happening? Let's go. Okay. Maybe it's just a limited rare thing. Yeah, that caught me by surprise. Then, Alex, you said about South American specialists. See, like, I'm so out of the loop. I don't come on server very often. I don't know. I guess I need to start. So, let's see. Specialist from here. We got a star. 50 below, 1 max, 60 above. A little bit of specialist action. Yeah, I like these kind of competitions. Make you play players you normally wouldn't. Giving away 3 stars there. What's the rare look like? 1 star in a box. Yeah, nice. Wasn't mixed for rare with super rare. Yeah, they're all together. Is it different now? It says 5 times rare, but I think you can have an upper scarcity in these, unless that's changed. I don't have upper scarcity cards, but maybe. Yeah, rip SD. It's brutal. Have you recovered from that messy free kick? I don't know if it was the messy free kick or it was the Segovia. Just kind of bounced around, and you just ripped it. Just brutal. Oh, there's jerseys in there. I'm a sucker for jerseys. I'm excited. I got one from Sir Inside coming, and I got like one of those random jersey. I just bought like it's jersey subscription type of thing, whatever. I can't remember which one, but it's out for delivery. I don't know where it's coming from, but I don't know. I just need a little bit of scratch the itch type of thing. So I'm excited for seeing that. Diego Luna. Yeah, Diego Luna is so good. Goal and assist last time out. That's about it for RSL. So we'll get into our glass is Austin. They drew with Minnesota. Yeah. Yeah, it's exciting. I'm winning the South America special with 5 guys you never heard of. I would guarantee I probably haven't heard of them. I'm so out of the loop with South American. Like I literally, since specializing in MLS, I don't know. I kind of let everything else go for a little bit. Like even the Prem, I really didn't followed it very briefly, but just kind of stopped following it as much. Getting back into it. If you haven't seen, my roommate from college and I, we're doing, it's kind of like an all around sports, but mainly soccer. It's just kind of like a thing on the side. I tweeted about it, but I'm excited for it, and we're going to do a podcast with it later. But it's not like server based or anything like that. It's just general sports. But yeah, I'll plug it here for anybody that hasn't seen it. But I appreciate any follows on that. I don't have it on here. but it's called Untapped Sports. It's at Untapped Sports PA because Untapped Sports was taken. But just we talk about sports. We're gonna post stuff about sports, American sports, but mainly soccer, and then kind of get into other sports that we talk about. So I appreciate if anyone followed that. But for example, like we do drafts, so we draft together, and everyone loves a nice draft. And we do this for Champions League. I guess got to take this off. And we drafted kind of snake draft, go back and forth, and then the picks were what numbers we took for each guy. We did the Champions League final, but just kind of like a fun thing. It's just like why add more to my plate, but my roommate and I, we always like talk sports, and while this is the thing that probably everyone has done, I don't know, it's just something that gives me some enjoyment. Where sometimes like Sorare and stuff kind of just feels like work, because it is a lot. But like doing lineup projections and things like that is just a lot of work. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's more of a fun outlet for me, where sometimes this isn't that fun. But these streams I like having, and just like talking to you guys and all the guys in stream. I assume all guys, because I doubt any girls play so rare. No offense to anybody if they do, but I've seen my YouTube analytics, and it's like 99.9% male. 0.1% is unspecified. So you got to know your clientele here. A jersey collection event for MLS would be nice. Yeah, I'm close to top on several teams. Teams that I'm ashamed that I'm up high enough, just because I've been boosting guys. Like I'm currently number 1 for New England, just because I was trying to boost my Carles Hill. I have way too many New England cards. Lloris, no game. Schulte hurt. Rick maybe back out for Blake. There goes 3 of my 4 in season. And my 4th, I don't want to play Pies. Yeah, it's gonna be such a rough midweek, that's for sure. Oh, Argos is in here. Here we go. Forgot to update the Pereira one, but he should be back this RSL game or San Diego game on Saturday. Nice. 99.9 male, 1 misclick. Yep, 100%. So yeah, let's get into it. Arglass, thanks for coming in. Getting into your prediction. Pereira's nice to have him back in the mix, so he will update that. Just kind of going through, we're going to talk about rotation the entire time. It's going to be brutal. Some teams do have a little bit of a break. They haven't played as many U.S. Open Cups, that kind of match midweek, so they have a little bit more rest. Some teams have just literally played the entire month of May. So it's been brutal. So getting into his thing, Kolmanic, was he the one who scored the goal? Yeah, first MLS goal. There you go. You have it there. I was kind of flipping back and forth. I was hoping for Joaquin Pereira. Harry and I were rooting for him, but he let us down against Austin. But a nice 1-1 draw. I think they can be really happy about that. Owen Wolf, he just looks great. He's been one of those guys that's kind of an unsung breakout on sets. A lot of good things about him. Just kind of watching him play. Whenever Daddy left, it was a positive. So it's good to see him. Savovic, Illy, and Duberskarsky, a chance there. And as he just said in the chat, Pereira is back in full training, and he could either be back this game or the following. So that's good. Up front 3, 80% on each, and 90% with the combined on Uzuni. So, should be a pretty strong match lineup in this. Oh, Eddie, jersey collections number 1 on Orlando. Let's go. Dunk, you got to be close there. Maybe not this year, but another year, I'm sure you're up there as well. So Austin is playing Real Salt Lake. This will not be in the East competition, of course. Real Salt Lake, I went all over the place here because we could see some crazy rotation just in a few positions with guys coming back from injury. Are they fit enough to play again? So Brian Vera would be the one. He was back in the lineup. He won 56 minutes and it was kind of shaking off the rust. He wasn't great. Just kind of looking at, the basis. So Katranis will be the other one. Yeah, Katranis or Junqua. So Junqua filled in at left center back while they didn't have any center back options. Now Vera and Quinton is in the mix. So I wouldn't be surprised if Quinton started, but not number one. You probably don't want to play any of these guys. Like I scoring wise, they're not not very good scoring. The only player that you're probably playing is Luna. Like, I guess you could play Anelli too. I'm fine with Anelli as well, but you're not really playing these guys. Anelli should score pretty well, actually, especially on the road, kind of racking up defensive stats here. But you're not really playing any of these guys. So if you do have these guys in your gallery, I'm sorry, but just based on how they've played so far, just not great. A lot of toss-ups, though. Like I said, Noel Kolaskin, he has, where was he last year? He was in the Portland second team. And he went over to RSL. Now he started 4 in a row, which is kind of crazy. Marks are coming back from like that injury. Johnny Russell hasn't really touched the field much. Gozo, he'd be the other one. So he's looked amazing this much. He just graduated from high school as well. So that's he scored was that his first goal? He scored last match. So yeah, he's looked really good. He's kind of come out of nowhere. And I know he's played in the USA. I think it was like the under 17s last year. So he has had a little bit of success already. But outside of Luna, maybe you play Gozo, but I don't know. I wouldn't really there. How'd you rank Mihalovic, Forsberg, Luna this midweek? Yeah, Mihalovic was sick. So that was kind of the explanation for why he didn't play so hot. And he had to be subbed. Forsberg, yeah. Forsberg can either have, go off, or he just, scores his 36 points and you call it. And then Luna, tough matchup. Austin's good defensively. And Luna, he doesn't rack up a ton of AA. His decisive, what, he had a goal and assist. Did he score more than 70? Might have been like 74. But he doesn't have a ton of AA, so he needs those decisives. I'm not sure that the decisives are going to come against Stuver and company, but yeah, that's how I agree with your ranking there. I think that's pretty solid. You're up 800 on second for Sporting KC. That's crazy. Love it. You love to hear that. Yeah, that's crazy. So out of that one, like I said, Austin, I think they have enough to get the job done. 51% on the win. That feels good. Yeah, I think Austin, but it's going to be low scoring, should be low scoring, just based on how Austin plays. 1.5 XG to 1. So right on that, over under 2.5. Yeah, I'd probably lean under. Maybe we do see a 2-1 game. I don't know. But yeah, so let's get to Vancouver. So here's it's Hershey's rotation boss team. I didn't know how to go here. A lot of kind of just tough ones. You don't like to see this low percentages on everyone. But guys like, so I'll give kind of my theory behind the guys that I'm higher percentage on first, and then we'll get into like the rotations. So Berhalter can't play in the CONCACAF Champions Cup final, so he's going to start here. There's no reason to hold him because, obviously Kubas was held out with the yellow card accumulation. We figured that out. I appreciate who brought that up in chat last time. I completely overlooked it. I didn't write down a yellow, but I appreciate you guys last time. So he had to serve that. So he's going to get minutes. It might be 30 minutes off the bench, but you would think he's going to get minutes. He didn't play in the Canadian Championship before, so that's 2 matches without playing any minutes. You would think that he'll get into swing of things a little bit here. Veselinovic was rotated last match, so that's why the other one with 80%. Outside of that, I went with everybody from the Canadian Championship, basically like the kind of rotation here. So I went back with Tate Johnson. It could be Adekugbe, but or Buvalina, really. Yeah, so Laborda, same deal there. Berhalter, we already talked about. Nagando would be one. Vite, probably not starting, but I am 60% on him. It could be him in the midfield, sure. Savvy makes sense. Ahmed started last match, but so did Nelson. So kind of went back and forth with there. It just kind of whoever they want to start in the CONCACAF Champions Cup final will be the guy who's on the bench here, in my opinion. And then Daniel Rios, he's coming back from an injury, but I just don't see them playing white heavy minutes just because you want a fresh squad going into that final. It's a shame that they even have to deal with this game. Why not postpone this one as well? Give them a full week of rest. Like, what are we doing here? I know the CONCACAF Champions Cup is played through the midweeks throughout the season, but if you're an MLS team, why not be fully fit and ready to go for this? So I don't know. That's my feelings on this, but yeah. What are your thoughts on San Jose lineup? We'll get to San Jose. I'm sure we have pretty similar just because of that crazy rotation. Then we didn't see as much rotation last match. But yeah. Yeah, Bovalina would be a guy that makes sense. The only reason I didn't have him, it's just like Laborda getting minutes, and Tate Johnson not starting in the last few matches. It just feels like a spot for him. But yeah, Bovalina, 20%, I could be higher on that. I do like that. He did have that. He started once at right back. I think he only had one start this year, right? It was at right back. But I know you can play left or right, just based on, well, I think he can play left or right, based on what I've seen. So Vancouver, it's really hard to say, but they always find a way. So it's, although Minnesota, is a solid team, they do sit behind the ball, and that's why they've been better on the road. But I don't know. We'll see. Minnesota has done some crazy rotations. I'm just not sure that it's going to happen here. Gressel started over Bongi Hulangawane. I have Gressel at 50%. He could play that right center mid if they like drop Harvey back, wherever on the back line. He plays right center back usually. So that'd be interesting for him. Yeah, outside of that, I think your Markanich, Rosales is a toss-up, but I think Rosales, after coming on at halftime, since they split that last match, I think he gets to start here. And then Yeboah, Olasei, they just have been swapping every other match. So if that continues, this should be the rotation there. Should be this way. Another one where I kind of feel good about it, but there could be a wrench in the plans when they rotate. Tate Johnson might be getting under 20, be cooked. Yeah, I did make a note on that. So since you brought it up, I haven't done this with all the internationals yet, but I just kind of looked through Vancouver. But it is crazy. At a Kugbe, and they play June 8th. So a lot of teams don't play in this mix. Bovalina, Australia, U23. Ahmed, Canada. Kubas, Paraguay. Ecuador, Vite. Berhalter, USA. Nelson, Canada. White, USA. And then if you said Tate Johnson as well, what are they even going to do? That's crazy. That's pretty insane. I guess Laborda will have to play left back. And then Ocampo at right back. So they can do it. It's just, that's going to be really, really tough on them. Really tough on them. So with these internationals, it's going to be kind of crazy for the few teams that are playing during that stretch, because a lot of teams do have that 2-week break from there. So yeah, I do think Vancouver, they found a way, but this kind of just seems like a draw. I don't know. And yeah, the only loss was due to international break. Crazy. Toronto, Philadelphia. So Toronto couldn't bounce back and just kind of, they had that Montreal huge win. They lost to Nashville. Nashville's in great form. They lost 2-1. And now they have a really tough time here. I went with the 3-4-1-2 again. It could be different, but based on what they have available, this is going to be brutal for them. They're missing Bernardeschi and they're missing Cozy Thompson. So like that right wing / right back spots, they don't really have anybody unless they're going to play Wingo or Terry Spicer. So that's kind of why I went with the 3-4-1-2. Stefanovic has been starting Long and Rosted. The only kind of changes might be Monluis. Maybe he gets a chance. But outside of that, Stefanovic, he would be the odd man out if they rotate. So that's why I went there with 70%. Corbanu should be good to go. They just kind of need him. Petretta is questionable. He was questionable last match. If he comes back, I just don't see him starting out of the gate. Could be wrong on that. Osario came off the bench, played decent minutes, and he scored a goal. So I do have him starting 60%. Dominguez would be the likely guy to replace him if he doesn't start. Davy Flores should start, but he hasn't rotated much. Could be a rotation situation here. And then Insigne, I have him at 80% total. He could play up top. He could play in that cam position. Longstaff, we haven't seen him start in a while. Maybe he's in the mix. And then the other spot of the 11 that I really just didn't know what to do. Etienne Jr. has played minutes. He started. He's done a lot of things. Maybe he plays up top instead of Sharp. Sharp is the more natural striker. Etienne is more of an attacking mid, a winger at times. So he's more versatile. So maybe this formation doesn't look exactly like this, but that's kind of where I'm going with Toronto. And again, with all of these, there's so much baked into this, but this is kind of like I tried to break it down into, okay, here's what the possible things could be based on this. So since you have these two guys suspended, okay, what does this team look like? How can they play a formation without those two guys both being on that right side? What does it look like? So 3 center backs I kind of landed on, and then this is what they played last match too. So that kind of obviously helps. But at this spot, here's where Cozy Thompson plays. At this spot, that's where Berndeski plays. But Berndeski kind of slid up and down this right flank. So that's kind of why I put Etienne Jr. there. But they are playing Philadelphia at home. I'm hoping this isn't, Philadelphia just kind of unravels. Last year, they blew so many leads where it just kind of was, brutal, and it just kind of was a downward spiral of them. They already have more points than they did last year, I believe, or more wins at least. And they still look good. I knew they blew a 3-1 lead. That's brutal. That hurts. It was a great free kick. I mean, that was unbelievable. Rick was even there, and he blew it by him. Just from even a Philly fan, you just know free kick from there, he's going to score. He just does. But hey, a point's a point. It's not a loss. It might have felt like a loss, but it's not a loss. The question mark here is Andre Blake, of course. What's he going to do? So is he going to be ready to go? He's fully training. You would think fully training, everything going on. I don't know if anyone got this reference whenever it's that song. This is the song that never ends or whatever. It's like that childhood song that just gets stuck in your head. It's like what being an Andre Blake holder does to you, because he's always injured. He always has these issues. He's ramping up for the Gold Cup. So if you do have your Andrew Ricks, don't worry. He's going to be gone for the Gold Cup with Jamaica. So you're going to have your Andrew Rick utility there as well. So I did post something on who might miss. The Schulte injury kind of furthermore not solidifies, but kind of lean towards Matt Freese being that third keeper, which Tomas Romero will be gone. And I already sold 2 Rangers things. I'm not kind of pumping, not trying to pump anyone. I still have 1 left, and I list them at an absurd price. But that's going to be an in-season keeper, most likely during this Gold Cup. But that's if Freeze is obviously taken, because Romero, he splits time. He's been the number 1 before, but he's kind of, I forget who the other keeper is, but what if Andre Blake is just using his PTO days? He could be. Fluid in the knee, that could be just made up. The kind of question marks I have with this Philly team. So, it's lineup prediction is crazy because I watch every minute of every game. I follow every beat writer for Philadelphia. I get literally all the news we can. And then I still, they're not the best team that I have. You would think they'd be the best team. I don't have a good feeling on what they do with Harriel, what they do with Macania. Macania started several in a row. It seems like this is the one that he wouldn't start as a true center back. Harriel played at right back. Westfield was out. He played the last few minutes. Westfield's been really good, though. So I have Westfield back in the starting lineup. Harriel back at center back due to this. But it could be Macania. They've rotated Harriel before. They've rotated Glesnes before. So that kind of changes some things. And then up top, Damiani has started, I think it's like 5 out of 6. I wrote it on here. 5 out of 6. Ura has, I was the anti-Ura last year. he's done a lot of good things this year. He just kind of gives a different look. I think Damiani still needs to get his feet wet in MLS and has struggled a little bit with what MLS is. But he is the future with them. Ty Baribo has been unbelievable. Golden Boot leader so far, which is insane. He feels pretty safe, but they've rotated him before too. So as far as the four midfielders there, Vasilev and Quinn Sullivan have been pretty safe. Bedoya started that one match, just kind of a one-off whenever they came on pretty early. Quinn Sullivan had a nice goal, that quick free kick that they took that no one was paying attention. Stuff like that is, why Inter Miami are where they are right now. Just lack of focus sometimes. But yeah, good point for Inter Miami. And I don't know. It's Philadelphia are 43% favorites on the road in Toronto. Philadelphia struggled in the past going up there. It's just without Bernardeschi, with a lot of things going on. Bernardeschi's so important to this team. And with him not being there, I do lean the Union winning, but we'll see. Maybe the confidence was busted up a little bit and maybe a little mini skid starts based on that. I wouldn't be surprised either way, especially as a pessimistic Philadelphia fan who's seen this many times before. Portland and Colorado. All right. Portland rotate a little bit. Anthony was rotated last match. My gut feeling with the goalkeeper situation is Kripo will start and continue starting until he leaves for the Gold Cup / international break. He was selected in the preliminary, whatever you want to call it, preliminary Gold Cup, where he'll miss some time there. The games are June 7th and 10th. So I think that Pantemis, they're just going to kind of ease him back. Kripo will start until he leaves, and then Pantemis will start with there. I don't think Pantemis is in any discussions to be in the Canada squad since they are kind of bringing up Kripo. So I think if you do have a Pantemis, just hold on to him. You feel probably good that he doesn't start, and then he's got the rest of the way during the Gold Cup, which Canada should make a pretty decent run there. And the games, the 7th and the 10th. Portland is one of the teams that plays on June 8th. So Pantemis will start that one. So I think that'll be Pantemis's first start back. Jeremy Forey coming back from injury. Didn't play a ton of minutes. He played, I can't remember how many minutes, 60 to 70, somewhere in that range. And then Claudio Bravo played decent in relief of him. So maybe there. Kamal Miller was rotated after they played that 120-minute cup match. Zupark has started multiple matches in a row. I just think that he'll be back on the bench. But Sermon could be the guy that gets rotation here. It's just kind of, making sure that they don't have an injury on that back line just because, they are pretty light outside of Kamal Miller and Sermon. I guess Zupark is a capable backup. But like Zach McGraw is dealing with an injury. Miguel Arujo, he's, not with the team. On the right back, it should be Mascara. Midfield, Char's dealing with an injury. So I doubt that he'll be in the lineup. Paredes started last match. Paredes has been good. He's been really solid server scorer as well. Julio Ortiz. He also goes by João Ortiz. I know him as João Ortiz. So I know like Opta has him as Julio, but same player if you see that. Ayala should be in the starting lineup. He's been great. Anthony back in the starting lineup. Amir Fernandez started for him last match. And then Kevin Kelsey came back from injury. He started last match. Should be back on that rotation where they're doing every other. And I do see, possibility of rotation elsewhere. But at home against Colorado, and they need, as prolific as this offense was, they can't score goals now. Shut out in 3 of their last 5. Haven't scored more than 1 goal. They're struggling here. So that's what I'm going with Portland. And Colorado is a lot of question marks. We don't get a lot of, there's some great publications, things like that. Like Burgundy Wave is a great source. Brennan Norse is a great source. We just don't get training information is the only issue with Colorado. So we kind of go in blind a lot of these times. Zach Steffen, I'm kind of shocked. He was limited in training, but he's reporting to the U.S. men's national team on June 1st. I would have thought that he would get some burn beforehand, but maybe they're just kind of playing it safe with him. I was Yim. He's supposed to be back for this match per the beat writer. It was Brandon Norris, yeah. So I do have him back in the starting lineup. Murphy will start if it's not him. Jackson Travis has been the preferred left back, but again, in this kind of, rotation based congested fixtures, maybe we do see Vines. Sorry, Harry. Maybe he gets an appearance here instead of just rotting on the bench last match. And then Rosenberry was the other one. Not that he's like a set starter or anything like that. He was the other one. He was on baby duty. His wife had a baby boy. So congrats to him. But that's why he was out of the squad. Ronan seems like he's a backup, but he could play, multiple. I still think a 4-3-3 makes more sense than a 4-2-3-1. They played Sam Bassett, Cole Bassett's brother, last match. I do have him in the starting lineup just based on, possibilities, but I would prefer Ronan, Atencio, and Laraz in the midfield. It just doesn't seem like they're going to do that. Then you have Mihalovic playing like a left attacking mid. Cude Pietro, good first start. I think he should start again, especially with Cabral. Cabral's been terrible this year. And Darren Yappy scored a goal, so good for him. Rafa Navarro expected to return to full training on Monday. That is today. We haven't heard anything. So I've searched his name. It's kind of hard whenever you get into, names that are pretty common. It's hard to type in Navarro. I've done like #Rapids 96. It's just hard to get information based on this, but he was expected to train. Does he start out of the gate? I'm going to lean no, but there's a chance that Yappy and he starts. So at that Sam Bassett spot, a slight formation change that Yappy would play as well as Navarro. So if that's the case, he will start. That's the way that I see it. Cole Bass is doubtful with that ankle injury. I don't expect him to be back for this one. I actually gave him 0% just because I don't expect it. But again, no training information. But this week, we don't really have training information on anyone. There's a 15-minute media time frame, and that's usually what we kind of go through and have. So pretty brutal on that front. All right, Ryan's Atlanta United first win in a while, I think in the month of May, right? Who'd have thought Moranchuk getting decisives whenever I have them in like a throwaway lineup at the bottom. Yeah, so why change a thing is kind of my thinking from that lineup. I think they like the shape. Saba starting played well. Yeah. Sliz Klitsch would be the kind of rotation or possible just, change. But yeah, I agree. Especially winning. You got to keep the momentum going, and they need to start seeing out points and stringing together a run here. And they're playing a tough Orlando City team. That's my major question. Duncan McGuire brings a lot to this team, and he did have a goal in the last match. What did they do? Ojeda has to be in the back in the starting lineup. We talked about how good he is, and he was dealing with a knock before, not now. That was just kind of seemed like a planned rotation from everything that I've seen. And I don't know if Muriel or McGuire starts. I think McGuire is good in spurts, and they like bringing him off the bench. But at some point, Muriel's had a slight dip in form, and I think McGuire could get another start here just based on current form. But I have a toss up there. At Tuwesa, it just kind of depends. He's come back from a neck injury, so it's not like, a muscle injury or anything like that. He played the full 90. He looked good. He did a lot for the team. So I do have him over Gerbet, however you say that. But I do give him a 50% chance there. Should be Brecalo. I doubt it would be Rafael Santos or Kyle Smith would be a possible rotation guy. Alex Freeman's been great. He has some transfer rumors / interest. From the English Championship, I think I saw. I would hate to see him go. I really enjoy watching him play. especially like go there to die. So if you're really hoping that he doesn't make a move this summer. So Thor Halson, he could play several different positions as well. Outside of that, Paslick, guys like this should start. But yeah, that's a really intriguing matchup. You got 40% win on Atlanta, 38% on Orlando. That's a toss-up, and that could be really interesting. So I'm interested to watch that one. That would be on a surprisingly enough on a like viewer, out of the East matchups. I would like to watch that one. That's kind of one that it's not going to get my screen just because I watch MLS 360 and I watch Philadelphia on the other one. But yeah, McGuire should talk to Freeman, tell him to stay in Orlando. Yeah, especially after his ordeal, the old McGuire. Should I stay or should I go? You guys messed up the paperwork, and guess I'm staying. Yeah, crazy. Another East matchup: New York Red Bulls against Charlotte. Charlotte finally won. Freeman gonna send the fax himself. Just heat. Yeah, it's a good holiday. A lot of good family stuff. Best part of the midweek: St. Louis isn't gonna lose. Yeah. That was a pleasant surprise not seeing them on the docket, just based on that. And yeah, we don't have to have any negativity with them. You never know. Atlanta won, so why not them? Yeah, fax machine era. What year are we in? Where I don't know. I guess you can't. Guess you can't scan things with your phone, or I don't know. That was a crazy situation, but that's so MLS of that to happen. It wasn't even the MLS's fault. Or was it? We'll never know. Possible rotation. I did have a comment. Ollie. Only 10% for Hack. Yeah, they played really well. They did. But with the congested fixtures, Noah Isla and Sean Nealis both were just suspended due to yellow card accumulation. I just don't see them not getting in the starting lineup here. Maybe I'm a little low on Hack being 10%, the team coming off a clean sheet and all that, but I don't know. I just think you have the fresh legs and you go with the fresh legs. Duncan's back in right back. I do think that just with Dylan Nealis out, he's going to be the starter there. He should be. Harper can play there. He played there once. I think Harper's the guy who gets rotated. Sofo played several matches in a row. 6 straight starts before coming off the bench last match. I do have him coming back in the starting lineup. And then this is a huge toss-up. If I could make it like 40, 30, 30 as the percents, or 33, 34, 33, 33, I would. But I do lean Carmona there, Gengar, and Harper all in the mix there. And then they did say that Lewis Morgan should be back. They said he was possibly able to be back last weekend, but they just kind of held him out. But I would expect him to maybe get a bench appearance for a few minutes, come back from injury. So that's what I think about that. Charlotte, they got a big win as well. So that's huge for the morale there. But what does this backline look like? I think that's kind of the biggest question mark. They are missing Brant Bronico due to yellow card accumulation suspension. So it should be Diani. That's kind of who's been in there for him. I'd be surprised if it was Petkovic or Williamson, but I'd be surprised. Tim Ream, his availability will make a lot of what happens here. So if Tim Ream's available, he'll either spell Marshall Ruddy or Privet on that left side there. Scardina, he'll either start if Ream's not in the lineup for that left back, right back situation. Ream's issue doesn't seem that bad. It's quad, but it doesn't seem like it's a long-term thing. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if he starts. I'm kind of leaning towards him starting on the weekend instead. So that's what I'm going with there. And then Abada, Vargas has started. I just think with the congested fixtures, they go back to Abada. But we'll see. Patrick Ajiman actually scored a goal. That's great for him. maybe he's going to round in some form here. So we'll go with that. New York City FC, Houston Dynamo. New York City FC. I don't have any changes. With all the rotation possibilities, I surprisingly don't have any changes here. Keaton Parks only played a couple minutes. It said 1 minute, but obviously there was stoppage time. He had crazy AA in like 1 minute. But I have Jonathan Shore and O'Neal starting in the midfield, but it could be Parks. If Parks is fit, sure. Ojeda, this feels like an Ojeda start since he hasn't started in a while. They like to rotate a decent amount. On the back line, Risa starting at left back for O'Toole, who continues to be out. Cavallo, I don't see him starting. I mean, he could, but I don't see it. Justin Hack and Martins have been key guys. My cat's going nuts. I apologize. And then Tavon Gray, he was subbed off at halftime due to yellow card accumulation. One of the quotes was he was too handsy. They didn't want to see him getting a red card, so that's tremendous. But he should be back in the starting lineup based on everything I see. I saw about that. I saw Jansen's quotes on it, so should be good there. Outside of that, those guys all should start. It's just a question: are they going to do any rotations? Home match, playing a Houston side who will be without Ponce. So he's on yellow card accumulation. We're getting into the time of the year where it's just yellow card accumulation everywhere. Junior Urso, questionable. Sviatchenko and Steris, doubtful. This is kind of getting into a question. Franco Escobar, he has competition. Andrade has played pretty well, and I do have Escobar starting, but Dorsey could be in the mix for some rotation eventually as well. Just kind of going left back and right back. Escobar can play both, so he'd be the guy that would play on the right side. Rain should start, but he's a guy that could possibly rotate a little bit. Linger, I have him up top, but it's either him or Olusanya as the two options playing for Ponce. Kowalczyk, I have him coming into the starting lineup. So Linger going up top, Ponce there. Or no, sorry. Kowalczyk, starting a left mid. Olusanya can play either wing as well, but I just don't see him as starting. If he does start, Linger's probably going to be on the left side. So, yeah. I've been shown to yell for being too handsy. Yeah. It'll get you. It'll get you. So, yeah. DC United. So, this is Danya's team. They just can't do anything. They needed that win. They need to at least get a result there. Benteke not being there. It's just Jacob Merle isn't there unless it's a bicycle kick. I kind of would like to see Christian Fletcher. He was on loan with Swansea. He was recalled from his loan this year. And, I would like to see him get a start, but that's just kind of from an outsider position. I just, you're probably not playing any of these DC guys, even though they're home against New England. I could see like playing Barraza or like a couple players, but that attack is just outside of Peglo it's not good, to say the least. Benteke does a lot for this team, and they just kind of look out of sorts without it. So that's the lineup. You can pause the video if you want to see anything else there. They're playing New England. So New England 3-3 draw. Carlos Hill, he hasn't been scoring as well. He had the AA. The AA was there. He's doing so much of just crazy passes. He had a few MLS assists, so like secondary assists, but just not helping. But that's crazy. New England is difficult for SKC, and SKC is better than DC right now. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Shankale got on the board. That's good to see for him. Ganago, yeah. Luis Diaz, he came off the bench. It played a decent amount. I'm trying to think. This is AJ Allen, by the way, if you didn't already know. Rev Sorare. I just don't see Carlos Hill being arrested. Yeah, that makes sense. He's great. Everyone loves him. Possible a couple chances. It is good to see. I was wondering What Sabalas got hurt and then came back, but he seemed to be fine. Yeah, kind of weird. I think he might be rested just based on what happened. He was down for a while. That's when Luis Diaz came on, right? I'm trying to think. I was kind of bouncing back and forth between that game, but Clement, what's happening? Let's go. But yeah, I think this is a playable spot at DC. DC has not been elite by any means at home. I think you can play Carlos Hill. I have like all these players from that collection. I'm probably only playing Carlos Hill. That's just kind of maybe find gold in a different lineup just because I'm a little bit weak on defense. But yeah, we'll see there. Do we have any more East? Yeah, we got a couple more East teams. Seattle is taking on San Diego. Some toss-ups here. There could be rotation. I just, with another injury, Yamar Gomez, I just don't see a hamstring. I don't see him coming back for this one. Reagan getting closer being back, but we're probably going to see John Bell and Kim Ki-hee, Tolo, Alex Roldan, and I just think Stephen Fry is going to start. Although Thomas has played before, he hasn't been good whenever he's been in there, at least this season. Last year, he actually played pretty well whenever he's in there. He just struggled at times. Rothrock, the wings are the question as well as up top. Musovsky, questionable. Popped up in the availability report with a hip issue. It's questionable if he'll play. If he's out, Jesus Ferreira. Excuse me. Jesus Ferreira, huge chances to score against his old team. Multiple big chance misses in like 2 seconds. Keeper was down. Pies was down, and he kicked it into his hands twice. Should have scored, didn't score, but they did escape with a 1-0 win on a Rusnak penalty kick. So, yeah, the wings. Minungu played pretty well whenever he was on, so that's why I went 30% on him. Minungu can play up top as well. He's more of a right winger, but you could. I do have Rothrock coming back into the starting lineup. Kent played extended minutes. Kent's great, but I do think there's going to be rotation throughout the year, and that's kind of why I went there. I'm at 60% on Kent, so it's just kind of a toss-up between him, Rothrock, De La Vega, and Ferreira. I think Rusnak is safer than all of those guys, but you never know. So that's why I'm going with Seattle. Seattle's playing San Diego. San Diego had a late winner as well. This is Danya's rotation here. Yeah, so they had an injury with Kamado. He went down, and Oscar Verhoeven, the San Jose trade, or is he loan to buy? He'll likely be the starter right back. Bombino's been good. He's been a good scorer. Not last match, he didn't score that well, but he's been a good scorer. Then you got McNair, pretty safe there. Mighton, maybe Valakari. But outside of that, they haven't rotated, and they don't have a deep bench. So it's not like they can even rotate if they need to as well. So you kind of feel pretty safe about that. At Seattle, tough matchup. Just kind of tough. Kind of tough to really favor them and really kind of put those guys in key lineups just based on that matchup. Columbus, we could see some rotation here. Morera got injured last match. He was dealing with a foot issue before the match. So that's kind of why he was limping, and he just kind of removed him. So knowing that going into it, I don't think it's a long-term thing. But I do think they go with Amundsen, Zawadzki, and Chaburko as the back line. I do have Hagen starting over Schulte, but Schulte doesn't seem serious. He just kind of landed wrong whenever he was diving in warm-ups. So it's a little tough there. Outside of that, Chambos was rotated last match. He should be back in the starting lineup. Maybe Gazdogs rotated. Maybe Russell Rowe is kind of a question mark. Aliou Ibrahim scored last match, coming over from Houston. I think that was his first goal with Columbus. Rossi shouldn't rotate as far as I'm concerned. He did rotate earlier in the year, but it just doesn't seem like a rotation spot for him. They host Nashville here. This is a big Eastern Conference Where are these guys at in the table? They got to be right around each other. 3 and 5, and they're even on points. Yeah, I was going to say, I could have sworn they were even on points. So this is a big matchup here. I think you'll get a solid lineup. And then Columbus does go to Miami. So it's just kind of, are they going to rotate a player here, a player there? AZ Jackson could be in the mix again. Ugh, I hope not. And for Nashville, I think we could see a couple just changes. Bauer is a question mark there. I think Walker Zimmerman, I think he looked fit enough, coming back from that head injury, scary head injury. I think he's fit enough to start here. I would say he starts one of the next two, but question mark coming into it. Other rotation spots, Brugman's dealing with a hip issue, so I don't think he'll be in the mix. So I'm going Yazbek again, tag Seth. Alex Mule should start. Jonathan Perez, doubtful. I wouldn't think he would start. But Schaffelberg, Kassem would be the question mark. I think this might be a rotation spot there where Schaffelberg plays the second game. At home against New York City FC? Yeah. That's what I'm going to go with, but I wouldn't be surprised if Schaffelberg starts as well. Last 3 games, LA Galaxy hosting San Jose. I think the Galaxy get their first win here. 51% chance to happen. It's either going to be this one or RSL. I know it's hard to see that, but the Galaxy have looked better. They have. They just get in their own way. Again, another match where they could have had the points. They could have. They could have either won or drew. They should have drawn. Lazy passes, and then Garza's doing whatever Garza's does and just blowing the game. As far as the rotation spots, I know this is kind of crazy, but Painsel's the guy that I left out. Coming back from injury, it could be Royce, it could be Fagundes. Yes, this is a rivalry for sure. But with Paintsel coming back from that injury, and it was kind of more severe than Peck, that's why I have him out and Ramirez in. Paintsel could start at striker again, and Fagundes in. There's just several players that could be out, but that's what I'm going with there. Mikovic started last match out of nowhere. I mean, I lean him staying in there. It's just tough unless you know what Vanny's thinking. It's just tough there. I think he'll get another start in a row. We'll see how that goes. Sanabria would be the other one. Maybe Parente starts. But Vanny actually criticized Parente's pass to Garces and said that he put him in a bad spot where, in my opinion, it was all Garces' fault. Just what he did. There's no need in that situation. But either way, San Jose, 3-3 draw with Houston, kind of crazy all over the place. Yeah. Jose Martinez, excuse me, missed 3 1v1s. Crazy. A lot of toss-ups here from Seth here. It's tough. They could rotate for sure. This 3-4-2-1. Yeah, Hernan Lopez looked all right. If you remember earlier in the season, Christian Espinoza was playing this position. But since they got DeJuan Jones, I don't know, that's tough there. Maybe we see Lima and they go to a 4-2-3-1 where Espinoza plays that right mid. I kind of see where he's going with that. I would agree with that. Yeah, Daniel was listed as out. Rodriguez and Bruno weren't on the injury report, so they should be back in the mix. Like, Rodriguez's injury didn't seem like it was too bad, but bad enough to not make the trip. A huge matchup here, a rivalry. Yeah, Earl Edwards is terrible. Agreed. I don't know. Rivalry match. I know I went a little bit differently with the Galaxy, like possibly I went Royce 70%, but that's just because Royce, he's looked good, but you don't want him getting injured just because he can't handle the fitness of playing, several matches in a row. I think the same kind of deal here. Sure, we could see Mark Anthony K, but I think you want to have LaRue and Harks in there in the midfield. I think you want to have all these guys in the starting lineup. Espinoza could rotate. I don't think he's going to rotate here. It just doesn't make sense. I know he's played minutes, several minutes. And then Judd had a really good last match. So I see why that's 70-30 there. So I would agree with that. But yeah, I think Espinoza should start. I know you get a little gun shy as a predictor whenever you see this crazy rotation. I'm guilty of it 100%. So it's a little bit tricky whenever you're dealing with teams that have shown that rotation. For me, like Minnesota, that one match, Seattle, that one match, it's just like you get a little gun shy putting 90% on players. So I totally get that. A couple toss-ups with Cincinnati. Number one, Nick Hagelin, fractured ribs and lung damage. It was a collapsed lung. Kind of crazy situation there. Poor guy. That's got to be brutal. Yeah, he'll be out. So I really like Flores and what he's brought to the team, but Hadebi is the guy who they've kind of went to every time. So that's where I went there. Lucas Engel, he's rotated before in this type of situation, home against Dallas. So maybe we see Smith here. Maybe Anunga, doubt it. Yedlin's been kind of a surprise to me. Orjano has been playing that position. Yedlin out of the starting lineup. It's just kind of tough to see him kind of get to a bench role and not in the starting lineup. But congested fixtures, it kind of makes sense here for him to be back in the starting lineup and Orjano playing up top. But again, Santos could start for Orjano, and Valenzuela has started several matches lately, and there's been a nice little spark here. So I don't know. I'm leaning Yedlin, but surprise there. Voitsky, what's up? Your goat. Arglass, let's go. I appreciate you coming in. Hopefully you like what you hear. Already went over Austin. I apologize. But yeah, getting down to the last few teams here. FC Dallas. So FC Dallas, couple questions for me. Chances of rotation. Farfan returned to the starting lineup. He was cramping and subbed in the 74th minute. It could just be like a minute restriction / they rotate him here for maybe he plays 30 minutes and Norris gets in there. Shaq Moore's played a few minutes at left back as well. So maybe they go Abubakar right back, which they've done several times to go with your Hoghead and Ibiaga. As far as the midfield, Show could play, but it should be Ramiro, should be Kaike, however you say his name. Paxton Pomykal maybe, but just kind of a bench guy coming off the bench for minutes. Left mid is a question for me. Anderson Julio was yanked at halftime. He wasn't very effective, but they didn't have much of the ball. So I'm having him start again, but Kamungo could be in the mix for a start. He is the guy that came on at halftime. Lucho Acosta back from yellow card accumulation, so he'll be pretty nailed on starter. Petter Musa as well should be pretty nailed on starter here. And Pedrinho for the last spot. Could be Farrington, could be Delgado, could be even Kamungo. All over the place. Is Lucho Acosta an Eastern Conference merchant? He could just go off against these guys, right? Yeah, it'll be interesting to see him going back to Cincinnati, where he was super successful and, basically, a roundabout way, forcing his way out. So it'll be interesting. His fall off needs to be studied. Yeah, he's been just not good whatsoever. All right. And the last one, Inter Miami. A lot of toss-ups here. In the grand scheme of things, they host Columbus on the weekend. This feels like the spot. If they're going to rotate, this feels like the spot. Will they? I don't know, which makes this very difficult. But as you can see here, I'm 70% on all of the big names. Outside Busquets, I'm at 80%. But Suarez, Messi, and Alba, 70% on each of those. It's just tough. This screams rotation to me. especially the Club World Cup coming up. You want to be fresh going into that. It didn't start till the 14th, so I guess that doesn't really play into here. You don't want guys getting hurt for that. Obviously, they're already behind the 8 ball in that. I think they're going to get shellacked in that. But yeah, I could see a Bonda starting. Fafa Pico. I don't know. It's hard to put them in starting positions, but these are guys like if I was rotating my squad, I would have him in here. Kromoski, I would have him in here. I know I'm only at 30% on him, but there's a good chance for him. Bright was just injured in the last match. We'll see how severe that is. He has been key to them. Redondo has been on the bench due to that. So I do have Redondo starting in there as well. And then Wiegand over Frey, Falcone. It seems like it's back to him. There's just so many different rotations they could make. And I don't have, I wish I had, the magic 8 ball to said these guys are going to rest, but I don't know. It just feels like I know it's a great matchup, but this feels like rotation to me. Watch, all this will happen, and then we'll get a best 11. And then last but not least, and maybe least, Montreal. So this is Gary's team, 4-4-2. Petrasso, Pierce, kind of a toss-up. Herbert's was injured last match. He was kind of locking in that left mid position. Before that, could be Lotori, could be Pierce. Kind of up in the air there. Waterman, Campbell, they need them. Obviously, Piet, Saliba, Steely, Bugaj, all have been consistent starters. It's just, will there be any rotation? But you're not playing those guys most likely. Although Inter Miami does give up goals. Owusu played well the last match. He was fun to watch. But outside of that, maybe Vrioni. I just don't see you playing any of these guys. So that's it for the 26 lineups, 13 games this match week. You can hit me with any other questions as you're coming in or as you're hanging out here. But what I'm going to do next is just take a look at the Sorare kind of process of how to build your lineups. And because I haven't done this in so long, just to see if it's clunky or, do it for the first time. As Andy Black said, 21 days for whatever you have to master or something. Not master, but forget what the terms. Oh, MLS Fantasy, nice. So if Sorare dies, I can transition to MLS Fantasy to make sure that people still like the content. I appreciate that, Voidsky. All right, so I don't have any 30th anniversary enough to play this, I don't believe. So I'm not going to throw some in there. I'm just going to do one lineup just to see, to make it a habit. Yeah, to make it a habit. I'm not going to highlight Andy's. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I was glitching out there. All right, so how does one go through this? All right, so we got 24-25 season. Classic, does that change anything? No, I just scroll down. Okay, so this is what it is. Projected D1. I could suggest a lineup. Not going to do that. All right, set lineup. I feel like I'm just like brand new to the game. Oh, here we go. You can tap this if you want more advanced stats. All right, we're getting tutorials here. This is what the content that everybody wants. That's for sure. My head's in the way as well. Let's pop me over here. All right, let's see these advanced views. Okay. Yeah. So that gives us that. Sorting by power grade, apparently. Should I go by popular player? Maybe that'll help me. L15, L5. All right. I guess I'll have to get used to this. Obviously, server data is so much better than this. Just maybe it's not. Maybe it's just like, maybe I'm just so used to it that I just am looking for reasons to not like it. If Andy says it's not bad, then sweet. All right, so let's just kind of open mind, go through it. We'll just take these for gospel. All right. So So the matchup indicators are interesting. So these just spot in the standings, I'd assume, right? Yeah, for sure. So it's displayed as like home away. They just highlight which team it's on. All right. Shows your percents. It's not the worst. You can see what percents that is. Lack of market data and ability to see all lineups on one page. Yeah, that's Alex. It has been a while. How have you been? Was actually in a rut using SD, so building last few games. Nice. There you go. Just sometimes you just need to have that little slump buster and just get on the server website, huh? Slump buster to get out of that slump. Yeah, maybe that'll work for me. I see great minds me. Yeah, I just figured that I would do this because this is my first time looking at it, and you guys will obviously help me as well. But just kind of like probably people want to see this. If you want to only see in season, there you go. Good looks. Yeah, I was gonna say that makes it a lot easier because the Jersey guys here. That's nice. You can click on advanced view to see more info. Oh, okay. So there's even more stuff. Find the right player. Okay, so you can take things off. Interesting. All right. So breakdown L15. You can see AA. Let's go to an AA meeting tonight, boys. Okay. Men's played. Set piece taken. Cool. Decisives. All right, let's just put all these on and just see what this shows us, huh? I don't know what I'm doing here. Per 90, our last 15 total. All right. Let's see this. We'll just get off keepers. And then, oh, I have to scroll. How do I scroll over? Can I drag? Someone help. Someone help me. Oh, I have to do it. Oh my God. So I have to click with my mouse wheel to get over. Is there a possible way I can just go like hit a button here and it pushes everything over and see full screen? All right, so let's unclick all that because it doesn't make any sense. All right, so I'm glad we had that. I don't know what I was expecting. I think that might be a me thing. I don't know. We'll just, maybe I'm not an advanced view guy. Maybe I'm a basic view guy. I mean, to be honest, with MLS, I don't really need anything. I can just build from this, but I'm just trying to give it a whirl with everything. These are great. These are great tools here. All right. Yeah, it's like first time playing the game. So if someone like popped in the stream, they're like, "Oh, he's talking MLS," and then he's just stuck on the screen. And he doesn't know how to do anything. That's that's exactly what you want to see. All right. So in season wise, I don't know. Maybe it's just like looking at this. Ivicic just came off that howler, but like them all being B. I'm used to like the AAA, AA, single A. I don't know. I'm just a sucker for that. Let's compare the two. I know they use like a similar whatever. I don't know if they just copied everything. They said it's similar, not the same. I'm just curious to see what the differences kind of look like between the two. And like I said, I'm only doing one lineup of this. I'm not going to do every single lineup. I mean, you guys would not want to see that whatsoever. But I'm just kind of curious, to say the least, just the comparison between the two. And I think it'll be a good exercise on, are they like the same? Are they different? So for this one, we got Dane St. Clair is a double A and Celentano is a double A. They're the same thing here. Ivicic is a single A. So they're around the same thing. The one thing that I do really like, just with SD, but you can do this with other things, is the percents. Like on Sorare Inside, you can see these as well. But just like having the percents all in one place and just this view for me, I have just always loved, because you can do the home away adjusted and it just kind of highlights the ones that were whatever they are. So like Dane St. Clair's on the road, you can see, okay, does he rack up AA? I want to see the score. I can go see what happened there. 4 saves, 3 inside the box, almost double digit AA. We know that. So I don't know. I really like this. And for me personally, I'm probably not going to get out of I'm not going to get into any other leagues when I was going to jump into limiteds and for next season, play others, but I just don't see that happening based on this, because this might take me an hour and a half to build one lineup based on our time so far. So I don't know. I'm just going to kind of throw some players together. I would kind of go back and forth between I think Dane St. Clair could have some nice AA, but just with Vancouver playing basically a second squad, likely Ivicic against DC could keep a clean sheet there, or concede 1, maybe 2, worst case, hopefully. Or Celentano at home against Dallas, a Dallas team that doesn't really scare you that much. For the sake of this, I'll go Celentano. And let's see how the rest of these look. So I do kind of like, they have most of what you need here, right? Your L15s, your L5, the matchups. Can you highlight anything here? I wish they had the percents, if they had their odds from Sportsbook, things like that. That would just make it better for me. Who'd I guess? I went Celentano here. See defense, if they kind of match up. So Valencia was top of the line. It's A and A, so I don't know what they kind of go for. Is it? It's not alphabetical, because unless it's first name alphabetical, which would be. It's not. Okay, so there is something that sorts them per this, but these two are flip flopped. Kai is going to be the guy. Kind of no doubt about it here. For the sake of the exercise, for the sake of the build, yeah. Midfield is probably going to be Carlos Hill or Vander, most likely. I don't know. Both good matchups. I'll probably play them both in this lineup. Let's see what they have here. Same thing here. Hill at DC, Evander at home. Both have been smashers. I'd be shocked if Hill doesn't get a decisive here, just based on he's had so many chances at him last 2 games. I just see a decisive in his future here. We're going to go both anyway, so it doesn't matter. And then Denke just doesn't get the AA to really go in the top lineup. I don't like the San Diego boys at Seattle. Forward options I don't like whatsoever here. Zaha coming off a great matchup, but at Rebel New York, that's all right. Oh yeah, we're not in great shape whatsoever. Yeboah maybe, but he just can't score. Yeah, so this is not a great exercise here. I might have to play Denke in the top lineup, which would make it brutal. Let's see on this side. But then again, Dreyer and Lozano could put up some AA on the road in Seattle against that back line, which doesn't have Yamar, doesn't have Jackson Reagan. So there are some holes there. It's just you don't want to target that whatsoever. Denke's up there as well, but Denke, even if he scores, he could get outscored by other guys. For the sake of this, we'll just throw a Denke in there, and Carlos Hill. So there's a lineup builder. I just like SD so much. Shout out to everybody that worked there and everyone that's ever worked there. The website's awesome. They've done so much, and kind of with everything, scouting and everything. They've made it so much easier than actually using the site. And, scouting, I've never scouted on the site. How do you scout? I haven't looked at the scouting center literally at all. So let's see how this works. Might as well do this as well, right? We got advanced views everywhere. Like, I just don't, it's so easy to just type in a name and just see the history, So I guess, makes it a little bit tricky. Okay, let's go MLS. You can have watch lists. I guess that's cool. Starters. Oh, yeah. It's kind of cool that you can see the percentage starters for each game week. So if you were buying for the game week, I guess that's cool. It's favored. You can go by price, huh? Position. Let's check forwards for this game week since my forwards stink. You can sort by L15. Let's see. I guess first team, you can sort by that. What other filters we got here? All right. Here's your filters. I was going to say, there should be like other filters here. All right. So that's where all that is. I was going to say, could you sort by like what their percent would be? Or not their percent, what their letter grade or whatever they call it. And you can go L40 here. All right. So you can add things. Your AA average, that's useful just from the scouting page on SD. I don't really need to see decisive because we can see that. You can do per 90s, last 15 total. I guess that's cool. That's not the worst thing in the world. You think enough people stopped using them with things integrated into Sorare? It made sense to close up. I feel like everyone is upset. I mean, I've heard some things just based on communities I'm in. So I mean, I don't have anything to really talk about on that. I think the Star membership was for anyone that plays, seriously in the game, is the best $100 you could spend a year. And I'm sure everything that goes into it had to be so expensive. All the data, everything had to be so expensive. The operating costs, which just made it tough. So maybe that's the case. Yeah. Feels like Sorare doesn't want to be person. Yeah. Yeah, Alex. I know, right? Like everyone turned it in. They're like, man, crazy. What happens to the remaining subscription months? I mean, I don't know. I think that's just it. I don't know. I mean, I'm completely fine with. I got plenty out of mine. I think it's just closed up. All right. So scouting, I don't know. I'm like I said, I'm just going to stick to MLS, and that's probably going to be it. I am going to take a look at the auctions. We got a ton of rare auctions going. Oh, no, these are instant value, idiot. Just curious, because I will be taking a look at some of these, like, okay, should I get into this competition? Should I not? Before I go to bed here, I'll definitely look at some of these auctions / insta buys to see if it makes sense. If there's any cheaper cards and good matchups, which probably isn't a thing. But we'll see. Wonder if some of the West guys will take a relatively steep dip from these and maybe pick up some collection pieces from the guys I didn't get before. Might be another option. Just curious, like the illustration. I really like the illustration outside of Dane St. Clair. Oh my God, what did they do? I very much like him. So maybe I'll get not Lucio Acosta. Maybe a Diego Luna because he has a better neck tat. I don't know, something to look forward to. But I think we've run our course. So we looked at me fumbling through the lineup builder, and to be honest, I'm just gonna stick with Sorare data and the button until they close up shop, just for nostalgia. But yeah, I think we'll call it at that. Hopefully you guys got a little bit of something out of it instead of me just not knowing what I was talking about for the last 25 minutes here. Yeah. Crafted a couple rare guys and got $40 with 294 best return of the year. Nice. Buying them from auction was expensive. Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. All right. Good luck. If you don't get DNPs, I think you're going to be in good shape. You'll probably be in the money if you get 5 out of 5 playing, probably. If I had to guess. I'll be back on Thursday for another stream and the weekend full slate in the competition. So I guess the West prices won't go down too much just based on that. Yeah. Thanks for the tutorial. I would argue that it wasn't a tutorial. It was me having no idea and Andy Black helping me out. But that's a stream. Good luck this week, this midweek, and we'll see you back on Thursday. See you next time.